Let me start. So we got the boy Ricky in here. Let me meet you, Ricky. So guys, Ricky's he's an OG. He's seen the learning. You can unmute yourself. Yeah, he's been learning from the beginning. He's seen how I've gotten better at teaching, and you finally got funded, bro. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's a crazy feeling, man.
So I'm just gonna let you do your thing, bro. You said you were gonna say some words. I'm here for it, bro. I'm just gonna sit back and let you do your thing.
Yeah, man. So from the very beginning, whenever I first hopped in Alex's class, the hardest part for me was relearning everything. I guess you could say. I never was able to sit in a class with somebody and actually just ask questions. So whenever I like, I bought Raul's course. I bought a couple of other courses, and then I started following Alex, and then hopped in his this boot camp, and it just changed the game for me. But the biggest thing was, I think what really put it together for me, and helped me get past like that, get over that hump, was risk management and support and resistance levels, like key levels. So um as far as being a trend trader, I I was following the trend 100%, but a lot of the times I would get lost in what was actually a break and a retest, because I wouldn't zoom out and see the bigger picture. So I think what changed it for me was that, man, just chart time, like over and over and over, day in and day out. I just kept telling myself, like, man, I've invested too much time and invested too much money and all this to just, kind of just set it down and be like, you know what, I still can't get it, but um started zooming out to the weekly and then the daily, and really zooming out and seeing where support and resistance is, bro. And now it's like I can pull up a chart and see support and resistance like back of my hand, bro. It's crazy. But really just chart time, just practicing. But um it really is as simple as buying at a low and selling at a high, bro. And bro, it's so like, when I started placing the trades off of the support and resistance and break and retest, and just didn't think about it too much. And I'm like, what I would do is, as far as the risk management, so like anybody that's taking a challenge, that just that, I wanted to say this. So I would always, like I said, buy at a low, sell at a high, obviously on a higher time frame, right? So but like on your video I just watched it right now that you released it, you were like, hey, like, you're buying right here on the 4 hour, but you're buying right into a resistance. Like on the daily and the weekly, you gotta think about that, right? So before you place the trade, just literally just zoom out, check if the risk is worth it, and then fucking set and forget. Like it's that fucking simple, bro. Just set and fucking forget.
Yeah.
And just make sure that I don't ever take any one-to-one, risk to reward trades. I'm not saying that you can't. Have I done it before? Yeah, and I've capitalized on it, but the one-to-one trades I was taking was, I would take the trade, and it just started consolidating. I realized that it was hitting another key level on a smaller time frame, and I realized the consolidation, and I didn't like it. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna hop out. I took my profits, I backed out, and sure enough, I ended up saving me some losses. So um, yeah, on the bigger time frames, just make sure you're buying low and selling high. It's that fucking simple. Like it's that, and it's crazy because when I first started the challenge this past time, I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna get some chart time. I'm gonna hop in on the newest boot camp and really refresh my mind, because I mean, I know I said it before, but I took like about 3 months off, bro, and completely away from. I'm a realtor here in San Antonio. I'm a real estate agent, and I took literally 3 months off away from real estate, away from the charts. Like it was coming back to the charts after 3 months. Like it's not the same, bro. And it's if you don't do this, like it's like going into the gym. I haven't hooped in 5 months, and then you go into the gym and try to shoot a jumper, and it's like, oh shit, like I got to get a few reps in to get my blood pumping again. So that's why I hopped back in here, and sure enough, I started hopping on the charts again. I opened up a demo account, started seeing that I was doing decent. I was like, all right, like if I just keep the same mentality, and control my emotion and don't make any impulsive trades. Just make sure that, okay, if I'm gonna place the trade, so this is a 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio. I'm either gonna, like, on a 50K account, that's what I got funded. I'm either gonna lose $500 or I'm gonna gain 1,500. And it's that simple. Sometimes it would even run even more, and I would do a trailing stop and ended up making like 2K, 2,500, and like, damn, like I made that on one trade. So at the beginning of the this challenge, bro, I lost 4 trades in a row, and I was like, what am I doing, right? So like, and I caught myself again, the psychology, right? And I was like, wait, okay, let me reevaluate why I messed these trades up. And sure enough, on the higher time frame, I wasn't where I was supposed to be. I literally had to tell myself, bro, like, Rick, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you know how to do this. You buy low, you sell high. It's that simple. So then the next 2 trades, bro, I made up for all those losses and was up like pretty much half of my profit of where I needed to be in 2 trades. And I was like, man, this is fucking crazy. Like, there's no way, right? So then sure enough, I think I lost one more trade. Barely. I got wicked out because of the spreads. I didn't remove my stops during the swap, and it fucked me. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I went to my MT4, and I was like, how did I get stopped out? And then sure enough, I started playing. I was like, okay, I get it. Right. I learned from my mistake. So then just kept going, and sure enough, bro, just boom, bro. I hit it the first time, and then the second time, I passed the first phase in like a week and a half, and then the second phase I passed in a week. And bro, it was just like I was sitting here like literally, bro. I just sat here for like 5 minutes like this, like, dog, it's really fucking happening right now. So,
No, I mean, you've done a lot of like good points, right? So I mean,
yeah,
the first thing that I feel like we're doing like a mini podcast here with like live with everybody. Like, it's kind of cool. Nah, definitely like some good points. I feel like you said was like the first one was like you kind of like you did the boot camp and then you came back 3 months later. So you weren't like chasing this shit. Like, you weren't going after it. Like, you weren't like, bro, I just did the boot camp. Like, I gotta, make a
yeah,
million like now
exactly.
next week, right? Like, you took it at your own pace. You realize
Yeah,
this shit doesn't come overnight, right? Which I feel like some of the guys from the first boot camps, they had some struggles kind of like understanding that. Like, yes, like now you know the knowledge, like now you know everything it takes. That doesn't mean like you can go now fucking race on the highway. Like, there's a lot of more
nah,
shit, you get me? So
yes,
that's pretty dope. Risk management. I mean, it's so easy to say, but it's very hard to understand and comprehend. Like it's very easily looked over. So I mean, that's everything you said is just straight valid. And then like the other thing that I feel like is very, 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 very important is chart time, bro. Like, if you're not
yeah,
here
dog.
every day or pulling up and seeing this shit every day, it's just like you're not gonna see the patterns because you're not here every day to see the patterns. You get me? Like, it's very self-explanatory. Like, let's say your role is to fucking, I don't know, fish, and you're not, or the waves, bro, the surfing analogy. Like, if you're not at the beach every day to catch a wave, you're not gonna know what a good wave looks like in the horizon or whatever. You know what I mean? So
Exactly. Hey, bro, and I highly recommend anybody that hasn't read the Candlestick Bible to
yeah.
read it, because I love the engulfing candle. It's probably my favorite signal to take the trade. But there's a few other candles that I'm like, I read, and again, bro, like I kind of skimmed through it the first boot camp, and then this recent time I buckled down, bro, and I read it all, and I was like, dog, like, so I would see the candle happen off of a break, a retest, and literally word for word in the Candlestick Bible, it says, be prepared for a switch of direction. Like, word for word, it says that on a doji. And there's multiple times where I'm like, bro, that's my signal. Like, the Candlestick Bible says that's my signal. Break, retest, 3 time frames in sync. It's fucking beautiful. The wick is already created. Started paying attention to what time the candle opens. Bro, all kinds of shit. I can go on for fucking days, but it's just like the chart time is what really made me learn more, along with being able to ask you questions. Like the one time you showed us that the calculator on how to calculate your pips.
yeah.
Bro, you like blew my fucking mind. Like, and that's some simple, like the way you did it, you were just like, oh, it's just this. And I'm like, what the fuck you mean? It's just this. Like, I didn't know that, you know what I'm saying? And it changed the game, bro. It changed the game completely. So,
I got look,
but yeah,
I'm gonna show that right now actually. Go ahead,
yeah,
continue.
put it
Yeah,
up, bro.
continue. No, but
Yeah,
I
bro.
mean, go ahead.
Amazing. No, I was just gonna say it's crazy that it's even a possibility. So I'm blessed to have met you, bro. Like it freaking changed the game, bro. So like I just got to stick with the same mentality, you know. Make sure I take some A1 setups and don't rush it. And I just know it's possible, bro. And it's crazy. Like I can taste it, but like the food's still warming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
I gotta chill. I gotta wait for it to warm up. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you.
Fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
and then let me just say something, because like when people think chart time, it's not the more time you spend in front of the charts, the more money you're gonna make. That's not the case. It's just like experience. Because like I'm sure you're not in front of the charts all day, Ricardo. Like I'm sure you're doing like other shit. So like it's like more of like just experience. It's not about being here all day. It's just like seeing the same thing time and time again.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference, but
Yeah,
yeah,
bro.
bro.
What one thing you said a while back was like you when you first like were the first boot camp, right? And like you said, you got a lot better at teaching because at
That
first it
was
was
hard.
like it was a little frustrating though, like for
Oh,
a lot of people because they weren't getting it right, and some people get it quicker than others, you know. So but anyways, one thing you said was like you were talking about like just placing the trade and you were like, man, it honestly it gets kind of boring. I'm like, bro, what
yeah,
do
it
you
does.
fucking mean? Like, how does it get boring? And I was like, man, I want to be in front of the charts like 24/7. And you're like, no, bro, no, you don't. You don't want
Yeah,
to do that because you're driving
yeah,
yourself fucking crazy. And
yeah.
yeah, bro, just setting the alarms and waiting for the retests, waiting for the shift of structure, and you know, waiting for your signal. Fucking hop in, make sure that you got your pips calculator right. Make sure that it's you're not selling into a resistance or buying into a support. It's buying at a low, selling at a high. It's
Yeah.
fucking simple, right?
It's
Crazy.
really that simple, bro.
Really that fucking simple.
No, I
Yeah.
appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you dropping them gems, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, bro. Thank you.
All right, so yeah, that's he's an OG. So I mean, appreciate you guys. Hopefully you guys got like this. That was like a little live um podcast. That's pretty dope. But yeah, like I'm telling you, the way that I'm teaching this to you guys now is so efficient, and it's gonna seem almost like too easy. It's because like I've low key kind of mastered how to teach it in like the last couple of months. To kind of what he was saying about like how to calculate your risk. I mean, I don't teach this, or I mean, it doesn't come out of me to teach it because I think it's so simple. So let's say you go to GJ, you have $100,000 account, right? Or let's say in Ricky's example, he had a 50K account. He wants to risk 1% of his trade. He has a 20 pip stop loss. He clicks calculate and boom. That's how much he's going to risk. And then there it is, his lot size. So he plugs in 3.6. He knows exactly how much he's going to lose. Like he's going to lose $500 max. If it's a different pair, let's say you go over to GBP USD, you can see the lot size changes because it's a different pair. It has like different fees. I don't know. I don't control any of that stuff. I just take the trade. Same thing here with USD CAD. Like you just change it up, gives you different lot sizes. If you want to risk more, you change this to 2%. Now you recalculate it. Now you're at $1,000. So this literally tells you how much to risk. So you stay within that 1 to 2% or whatever. This is literally it. It's very self-explanatory. It's very simple. But yeah, with that being said, let's get into today's class. So I'm gonna, since I still haven't figured out how to somehow, like whenever I make you guys host and you guys share and have it record, I'm going to do everything that I was gonna do today, and then I'm just gonna go over your guys' homework, right? So we're gonna start from the top down. As you guys can tell, let's start off with GBP JPY. So kind of exactly how I explained to you guys, everything can be there and it still won't happen. Like you can have all the confluences you want in the world and you're still going to lose the trade. Just move on to the next one. So in this case, you guys can see here, we had a confirmation rejection from this daily candlestick. When we were like this, I'm sure you remembered that I was like waiting for the next day to come back down and then give me that wick retest, which we had exactly that. And I didn't take the trade then. I waited for after that retest. Then we had this 4-hour bullish engulfing here. We go down to the 1 hour. It was breaking above this EMA. I took it and then boom, immediately to stop loss, like right away. But this is kind of like something like a little like gem for like the next upcoming weeks is like I put my stop loss in a place that if price hits it, I'm completely wrong. So price is literally going to come back, retest it, and then use it as a form to sell, right? So it's like the whole react and adapt. Doesn't mean that I'm looking to sell at this point, because then it would just like everything that we're doing here is basically goes to the trash. But it's like at a point where if price hits my stop loss, it's not going to just wick me out and then go. Like price hits it, I'm going to be completely wrong. So as of right now, obviously that was the case. So GBP JPY, if we start again from the weekly time frame, we are technically still bullish, but we have broken through our area of interest. So this is now gone. If we go down to the daily time frame, as you can see, we were retesting daily area of interest. That is not a case anymore because now we are under it. And then we are no longer at this area of interest here. And then you see the importance of having the other time frames bullish. So as you're seeing here, the 4 hour was still bearish when I took this trade, and so was the daily. Like you guys are seeing how the trade looked beautiful, but if I were to build it out, which I'll probably build it out at the end of the boot camp. Like you guys just remind me and I'll come back to it. And you guys are going to see how this trade right here ends up being around a C trade. So the probability of this trade going up is not as good as it obviously what it did right now. So this is just a trade that I took because this is just, you know, I'm willing to take this risk. I'm teaching you guys how to take an A+ trade. Ideally in this trade, you would have to wait for the daily to now do this. You need to wait for the daily to create a higher high. And then at that same time, the 4 hour would then go bullish as well. And then you would have to wait for this higher low. And then this trade, this would be bullish and bullish. Now this is an A+ trade setup. Obviously everything else lines up. But this right here is not like a trade that I'm teaching you guys how to take, right? This is just something that I take on myself. And even then with it being that clean, can still hit your stop loss, right? So as of right now, I am not interested in this trade. I'm not even interested in sells. Because I don't want to get involved in here. I'm sure you guys remember we were in here for like almost like 2 months in this super chopping consolidation with GJ. Now we're back in within this zone, so I'm honestly like good. I'm just gonna throw this like all the way down here. I think this was like this, right? NZD JPY. So do you guys remember what I had mentioned of price here? Do you guys remember? Or do you like, I just want to like see if you guys are having like the chart memory of kind of what I had explained when price was right here. Yes, yes, played out perfect. Yes. Explain. Okay, yeah. So remember how we had put GJ on top of NZD JPY because at the time this was rejecting this EMA and it was rejecting around psychological level. So this looked a lot cleaner to have a rejection to the upside due to the fact that we're above the support and resistance level. Like we're literally above it. When we went over to NZD JPY, we had body closed under. And I'm like, all right, guys, I'm no longer interested in this trade until we don't body close above and then retest it to head to the upside. And then since we body close under, I was like, this has a high possibility of wicking into this area and then selling same way how we did. Here, 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 and then this could have been another chance. You guys remember all that? Perfect, yeah. Everything perfect. I'm not interested in these sells because we are at a area, like we're at a zone for buying, but like for technical and entry purposes, we're not looking for the sell, we're looking for the buy. In order for the buy, this is why you see we had to have waited for this candlestick to have broken above. We would have then gone bullish. You see the importance of this bodies because this would have been a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, low, high. And then notice how this body never closed above the lower high. So we remain bearish on the 4 hour, avoiding this loss right here, right? So this played out as explained, not how we wanted. We obviously wanted for this to do this, but it played out in the other scenario. That's why I told you guys in the beginning, it's either going to go up or it's going to go down. We're just finding the way where it's going to make the most sense. Here it clearly went down, right? Euro GBP, last we were on this chart, we were looking at it like this, and I had explained to you guys, now that we have this doji, kind of how Ricky was just explaining, after the doji you can expect to now have the higher low, head to the upside. So now we have price creating the higher low at our area of interest. This is where we go down to the 4 hour, so on and so forth, rejecting the EMA. We're at the EMA now. But you guys are seeing how these trades are like lining up, right? You guys are seeing like how we predicted this whole entire pullback from the daily time frame. Is it being clear? Crazy simple. Do you count the wick even if the body closed above the area of interest? Not sure what you mean. AUD JPY and CAD JPY clean. Let's check them out. As you notice here, AUD CHF, when we were looking at it, it was like this. And then we were explaining how we need price to come into our area of interest. And then once it comes into our area of interest, we can then sell. It never hit our area of interest, so we never caught the sell. So these things happen all the time where we're right about the direction, right around everything. Just the trade never presented itself, never hit my alarm. Not gonna lie, this is probably a trade I would have taken around here, because you kind of have like a little double top here. This is pretty choppy, not gonna lie. I mean, I probably would have not taken it. But yeah, we were right about this direction as well. Just price never came to our area of interest. Gold, kind of around the same area. It's hit our area of interest. But this is the news that was happening earlier today. And then we have Euro JPY, which is on the way to our area of interest. You guys are seeing how we predicted the top. Now we're kind of waiting for this to come into this area to then head to the upside. I think this will be ready maybe next week or the following week. But yeah, so let's kind of reset our order. So now we're gonna set this one. So for sure, GJ, I'm good because it's already broken under that. Then we have NZD-JPY, which we're good. Then we have Euro GBP, which is looking ready to have the higher low to head to the upside. This one completely missed, so this one we're good as well. Gold, we're reaching the area of interest, and then Euro JPY is on the way. So you guys are seeing how things can just change throughout the week. These things can look golden, ready to go, and now these are the ones that look golden, ready to go. Like you guys are seeing it. I know I probably went a little fast. Do you guys have any questions? Oh yeah, I'll check those out. Okay, let me see. AUD JPY. AUD JPY. Weekly is bullish. Yeah. Daily. I can see how we can be retesting this area of interest here. And if you want, we throw this into here. Brown psychological. 95,500. You guys are seeing how I just found that. I was just, threw it into the middle because this is a daily area of interest. Why daily? Because if this is the higher low, and then this is the higher high, we're looking for areas of interest anywhere in between these 2 points. Clearly, anything here from the top down, we can't use because we've already broken through it. So our next point to find is basically where we are right now. You guys are seeing how I kind of found it. Obviously, I just see it a lot quicker, a lot easier because I, have the chart time / experience. But I mean, on Euro GBP, the wick of the red candle touched the area of interest, but the body closed above. Yes. It does count because it retested it. Yes. It's almost like you're basically asking like if this right here would count as a retest of this. Yes, it does count. Ideally, you'd want the bodies there, but yes, it does count because it did reject it. Like it reached this area and it's rejected it. This one looks nice. We go down to the 4 hour. The 4 hour is technically bearish. So the ideal trade setup here would be basically the break above this, which would not only make all these time frames bullish, but then it would be breaking above and then retesting the 1 hour EMA, 2 hour, and then the 4 hour EMA. So yeah, this trade actually looks pretty good. I could just add it right here. Creating higher high on the 4 hour, and then CAD. That looks really good as well. The thing about these pairs is that I just find them like so high on these time frames. Like we're basically buying at the end of the move. Like we're buying at this high in here. It's kind of like the only thing I don't like, but you can't help to understand that we are creating higher highs than higher lows. But this monthly does need to eventually have a retracement. But you can't help but notice that it does look clean. So same exact thing here. You guys see how AUD, JPY, and CAD JPY basically look the same. We have this whole bearish play, We're waiting for the same break above, same exact thing. They're literally the same. You guys are seeing how they look very similar, right? All right, so let's go back to these. All right, I have a question about area of interest. What would we mark if the weekly is bearish but the daily is bullish? What we look for? We look for area of interest because the monthly is. Yeah, of course, Rick. Yep. What would we look for area of interest? All right, great question. So somebody asked, I have a question about area of interest. What would we mark if the weekly is bearish but the daily is bullish? Would we look for the area of interest to go long or to go short? So that's a great question. Now, are we bullish or bearish overall? Or what is going on? Are we overall bullish or are we overall bearish? And this just happens to be bullish in here to then have the push to the downside. So a perfect scenario of that would basically be GJ, right? So GJ, we are overall bullish. As you can see, we're overall bullish and we're creating bullish market structure, but the daily is bearish. As you can see, we went from bullish to then bearish to reach your area of interest to then take the buy on the higher time frame. So it really comes down to, are you willing to take the lower risk trade to the area of interest on the higher time frame, or would you rather just wait and then take the buy? Does that make sense? Is it too technical? I can explain it in a different way. Jonathan. Say it again. Okay. All right. I think it's here. No, bro. There's no, trust me, we're good. All right, so let's go back to here, right? Let's delete. Right, so let's just completely disregard this right here. Let's completely forget this is here. This does not exist, right? So you're asking me right now, which is a very valid question. I love this type of question. So right now we are currently bearish on the daily, right? The daily is bearish, and then the weekly is bullish. So you're asking me, where do we put our area of interest? Do we put it on the weekly buys or do we put it on the daily sells? You guys are with me so far? Right? So let's forget that this is here. Let's literally go like this. Forget that this is here. And then forget that this is here. Right? Okay. So I'm just going to say it again. there. So we understand that this is higher high. 1 second. One second, guys. 1 second. All right, so we understand that this is the higher high. And then we understand that this is the higher low. Right? You guys are with me? So we understand that we are bullish on the weekly. And then we understand that on the daily, we are bearish because this is the lower high. And that this is the lower low. Right? Where you guys are with me so far? Weekly is bullish, daily is bearish. So I'm being asked, what do we look for? Do we look for a daily, do we look for a weekly area of interest for buys, since we're obviously bullish? So let's say this would be a weekly area of interest for buys. So coming into here to then buy. Or do we look for a daily area of interest to then sell? Which one do we look for? You guys are with me so far? So then this is where you basically ask yourself, what do you want to do? Do you want to get the buy, long-term, higher probability, A+ trade setup? Have to wait a little bit more for both sides. You're going to have to wait for it to get here a little bit longer. And then you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for it to have the push to the upside. Or do you want the lower probability trade, much faster results, whether it's a win or a loss, to have this trade sell into the area of interest where you were going to buy on the weekly regardless? So this is where you have to just ask yourself, do you want to get the day trade down or do you want to get the swing up? It's a very simple question. And then you just have to find your 3 time frames in sync here and your 3 time frames in sync here. So kind of like how I explained to you guys, I'm going to teach you guys with weekly, daily, 4 hour, but then you could take the same exact strategy and apply it to 4 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour, or daily, 4 hour, 2 hour. You just need these 3 time frames in sync along with areas of interest. So if you place your areas of interest on the daily and then now on the 4 hour, now you're looking for entries on the 1 hour. You get me? Like everything now just shifts from here to now here. The same strategy, you're just moving it from a higher time frame to a lower time frame. Does that make sense? Okay, so let me show you guys how I'm going to show you guys an example, right? Very valid question. Love that it was asked because I feel like it could pique someone's interest and it makes total sense, right? So yeah, it's a fire question. That's why I want to go into it. So for example, right now, Euro JPY, we're bullish on the weekly, right? We understand this. This is a fact, right? We're clearly at our top. So do we just want to wait for it to come here to then buy? Or we go down to the daily and it's extremely clear that it's gone bearish. You're seeing how now the daily is bearish. So now I'm sure you guys can already guess what's going to happen after this. What do we expect to happen after here? So let's say this is the lower high. And then this is the lower low. What do you expect to happen now? Amazing. You guys are all getting it. So this price, exactly. Yep, you guys are all getting it. This price now needs a retracement into this area to then head to the downside. Remember, this is where we're looking to buy on the weekly. Now, is this a possible trade right here? So let's say we were to mark off this as our area of interest. Let's say we just do this right here. Let's say we mark this off as our area of interest. We go down to the 4-hour. As you can see, what a coincidence. At the same time, we're going to be retesting the 4-hour EMA that is used as support when above. What a coincidence that now the EMA is under at the same time we go bearish, and at the same time that we're on our way to our area of interest, right? So it's a clear indication we're about to start going down to this area, right? It's a very clear indication. And on top of that, what a coincidence that we're going to be retesting the head and shoulders, the neckline of the head and shoulders. So to your question, should I sell here? Yes, but I can't teach you that just yet, right? I'm teaching you basically what's going to happen. Like all of this is going to happen. It's going to come here. I'm teaching you how to take the trade here. Once the trade is here, this is what I'm going to teach you how to take. But can you apply the same exact strategy instead of waiting for all the way here to then doing it here? 100%. It's the same thing. Just instead of going weekly, daily, 4-hour, you would go 4-hour, 2-hour, 1-hour, the daily, 4-hour, 2-hour, whatever, doesn't matter. But you would just remove the higher time frames. But me teaching you the higher time frames, now you understand where to get out. Because let's say, for example, you sold it here, you have your stop loss above. Again, this is just all examples purposes. Like you're not setting an unrealistic take profit, I don't know, whatever here, because you want to get a 1 to 3. You know that on the weekly, where we're looking to buy, this would be the first area where price has a high probability of going to the upside. So this is where you would have to place your first take profit. Does that make sense? Since you know we're looking to buy here on the weekly, why are you going to take this counter trade sell and just push it and then just, let's say you're down here. Like we're obviously bullish. Like we're clearly on an uptrend. So it's like right now, this is the perfect example right here. So let's say we were to have taken this trade. You're teaching slow and steady wins the races instead of, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's say right here, okay, look. So this right here is literally this right here. So yes, you can take this trade short, and I can show you now when we go down to the daily, it's probably going to look the same, but you need to understand where to put your take profit. You're putting your take profit at your area of interest on the weekly time frame where we can come in and then reject to the upside, because the overall image is up. So if you're taking the minor trade down, get out before we go up again, right? This is where a lot of people get confused because they don't know where you are in the market. I'm teaching you right now how to understand where you are in the market. Does that make sense? So let me show you guys how this right here is the same exact thing as like here. I can almost guarantee it, right? Basically the same thing, just doesn't look as clean. So for example, here you can see we are bullish, then we go bearish to the downside. Here we were bullish, then we body closed under, you want to call it an elbow. We have the lower high and then head to the downside. We did the lower low at the weekly area of interest to then start going back to the upside. You guys are seeing how it's kind of like clicking, like, yes, you can take this trade, just get out before we get to the weekly area of interest. It's basically it. So you don't get, your trade doesn't get cut short. And then, this is kind of more for like take profit placing and stuff. 1 second, guys. Okay. My bad, guys. Yeah. So is it making sense now? Is it clear? Because again, back to the principle, we understand that this time frame has to go bearish in order for the weekly to have the overall push to the upside. So basically in this chart right here, so let's say this right here, we understand that this has to go bearish in order for it to get here. So this to have like that. So can you take this trade down short? Yes. Just know that you have to get out before we reach this area where it's going to have the overall push to the upside. Basically. So there's no right or wrong answer. It's just more, what are you willing to put your money up at risk? It's basically it. This, I feel like this is a great example because we're going to see this play out. No, for sure, man. Of course, I'm here to answer any questions. So I mean, but before I continue, do you guys have any questions, any concerns? I can go on again, like on like any like details of this, right? So let's have a quick recap of everything we are so far. As of right now, we already know what higher high and higher lows are, right? All of that is clear, simple. We know how to tell if we're bullish or bearish, right? All right, let's have a test. What is this point right here? Oh, a lot of you guys fucked up. Oh, nothing. This is not a higher low yet. This is literally nothing. Nothing. Yeah. Market structure. It's purely nada. Because this from here could just go like this. Now, how is that a higher low or a lower high? This is nothing. It's literally nothing. And so we don't break above, right? So if, let's say, if I would have had my trusty lines, this is why the lines are so important. And then I would have had this one here. You would have understood that that was nothing because it's literally just anything in here. This still remains bullish. So it's just market structure. The moment we body close above, now it changes. All right, let's see. Let's make sure you guys are good. Let's put this to blue. I feel like blue looks easier to read. Is this bullish or bearish? Nice. A lot of you guys are messing up. All right. So it's very confusing. Very confusing. So let's say if I were to just take this with me, and I could understand why, because you guys don't have like the tools. So let's take this with you, right? So let's say we have this as your lower high, and then let's say we have this as your, so wait, let's do it like this, right? No, I'm even getting confused. So we have lower high, then we have lower low, right? We body closed above, making this now a higher high. And what does this turn into? This turns into the higher low. So anything in between here is purely market structure. We then broke, making this a lower low. The moment this is a lower low, now this point turns into the lower high. The moment we body closed above this point, now this turns into the higher high like this. Higher high, and now this turns into the higher low. So we are technically bullish. You guys are seeing this one was very tricky. I did that on accident. That was not supposed to meant to be that tricky, honestly. So this does not count as a lower high or lower low because we didn't break above this. If we would have body closed above, now this is the higher high, this is the higher low, and now we're bearish, right? Let's keep it going. Just want to make sure you guys are in the clear. Take your time, no rush. Are we bullish or bearish? Take your time. All right, you guys are getting it. Fire. Yep. 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 So technically, we are bullish because if this were to be the higher high and then this were to be the higher low, all of this in here is purely just market structure. Simple, 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 simple. Right? So let's move on to a recap of this is the weekly. This is the daily. My bad, guys. This is a daily. And then this is the 4 hour, right? You guys just seen it all. Very clear, simple. When sure an elbow. I would verify the elbow and the time frame that it is, because then it's if we're doing another time frame, that doesn't make sense. Yep. Okay, so are we here at a top? So 1, 2, or 3. So you guys already know top, on the way, or 3 at the area of interest. So are we 1, 2, or 3? Okay. Okay, easy, right? So this is obviously at a 1. So we're at the top. What about on the daily? Okay, yep. Okay, so we're at the same thing at the top, and on the 4 hour, same thing. All right, easy. So we're at a 1. So now we are looking for a weekly area of interest. So we're looking for the weekly to come into this area right here, meaning that on the daily, it would be right here. Because if I were to get this same move and then put it into here, let's just call it like this. You guys are seeing how this can be the same area of interest. This is just how it looks like on the daily. You guys are with me so far? Makes sense? All right. And then on the 4 hour, this would basically be the area of interest down here. So all of this, right? I got it. I know how to explain it now. Everything we're seeing is from here up. So this right here is this, and then it's this. You guys are seeing how we're looking at everything in here just a lot closer in all the time frames. You guys are seeing it? Fire. This is great. There's a new way to explain it. Easy. So everything in here, we are needing this right here. We're needing this, right? In order to have the next push to the upside. We understand that? Simple? Cool. Okay, so we need this. Let's mark it in red so we know what it looks like. Meaning we need, just make this more this way. Meaning we need this. Meaning we need this. We get it? Easy? Okay. So now, the ideal trade setup, the A plus trade setup, is we'd have to wait for this to head its way down to here. The ideal trade setup is we would have to wait for this to go here from bearish to bullish to then bearish to then bullish, whatever, to then come here to then where we would take the buy. The buy, the buy, and then we just have the overall swing trade up, right? We get that? Simple. So now Can you take this trade down? Yes. Is it an ideal thing to do? No, because then it just throws everything off. Because when you do the percentages, I mean, you literally just, you know, we're gonna get to the confluences and like the more percentages and stuff very shortly, but you're literally gonna answer your own question. Should I risk in this challenge? Let's say you're up whatever 3.4%. Should I risk 1% on this trade down? And that's where you will ask yourself whether you're willing to do that or not. You can find great success in this as well. I personally do it myself and I have success with it. So you just have to find the balance whether you're down for it or not, right? So we understand how all of this works market structure wise, how the 4 hour goes bearish first, and then it goes bullish in order for this to have the lower high. We understand all that stuff, right? This is a better analogy. Fire, simple. Yes, yes, okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's just build it out. So let's just do all of this. All right, you know, I'm just gonna leave this shit here like this. All right, so let's go to this, right? So we're gonna start off with confluences to go long. As of right now, need a retest of weekly area of interest to go long, right? We're waiting for our area of interest here to then go long. That's literally what we need for number 2, because we understand that after we do the top-down analysis, we have to reset to the weekly, find the area of interest, right? We understand that? Simple? Cool, right? Meanwhile, this is doing its thing. We could confluences to go short. Who's saying we can't do this, right? Ideally, this is not what you want to do, but I'm going to show you guys how you're going to build your own reasoning to not taking the trade short. So confluences to go short. So we start off here. 1, daily. This is where we'll go down to the daily. Daily, bearish. 4 hour, bearish. And then 2 hour, bearish, right? Oh, wow. We have 3 time frames in sync, right? Because now we're looking for a minor day trade to the downside. But when you go over to the weekly has a total of, let's do it like this, 10% towards your grade. This has a 10% total to your grade. And then let's just call this a 10 if you were to be going with these. But when you go over to here and you're looking for a day trade, this has a 10% towards your grade. But then I would call this right here, there you go, a 5%. And then this would be a 5% right here. Because these time frames go bullish and bearish a lot faster versus these two. So these two, if they're bullish, they're gonna stay bullish for a while because it takes a lot longer for them to change. So if you're gonna go on a day trade, now you understand that when you have 3 time frames in sync, you're already starting off with a 20% towards your grade. Versus if these 3 were to be in sync, you were to have 30. Just by that, you guys will see the more percentages kind of add up. You guys are seeing the difference. When you have these time frames in sync, you have a stronger foundation, meaning the trade is going to go in your direction. Like this 10%, like, you know, you can, like, I passed high school with 70, but like if I were to have 10% less as a D, you don't pass. You get me? So it could be the same thing for this trade. So this is where we're going to build it out. Why is the 4 hour on the left 10 and on the 5 5? So here's because you're going with the other time frames. Here's because you're kind of looking for the day trade and everything is just isn't as strong, but it's the same thing. But this is just how I personally would categorize it. And because you're going with the 2 hour, oh, just like this, like that. All right, perfect. So let's take this off. So we do this. So same exact thing. If we started off at the daily, now we're on the 2 hour, same exact thing. Instead of resetting to the weekly, we're now going to reset to the daily time frame. So now we reset to the top and be like, all right, where are we? Where are we? Right? Are we on our way to are we at a bottom? Are we on our way to our area of interest, or are we at our area of interest? Are we 1, 2, or 3? Okay. 1, 2, or 3. Okay. So it's in a mix of both, right? So you could say 1/2, because we don't know if this from here is just going to have the pullback. We don't know if this from here is just going to keep plummeting. We have no idea, right? Like we want it obviously to come to this area. So let's just call it, for this example's purposes, let's call it 1.5, right? Or let's just call it 2, right? Because let's just say that it's on the way to the area. So we understand where our area of interest is. We obviously, go to the left, and then let's say we get our trusty line, then we're going to put it at the first support level. Same exact thing applies. You have your lower high, lower low. Now you're going to start looking for areas of interest from the daily down to the 4-hour. So you're going to obviously keep going to this with the left. It's going to go so far. Let's just leave it there for now. And you're going to start from the bottom up, because obviously we're looking for sells. So the first area of interest, this little support level doesn't look that crazy. You look left. It does have some things here, some resistance, a little bit. Let's just call this area of interest 1. I don't think it's that valid, to be completely honest. So I'm just not even gonna waste my time there. Now we just go straight to area of interest 1 right here. This is where we want price to come back and then go short. This is where we'll basically get our box, put it at the bottom of that zone, square it off. Notice here how we have bodies, right? You're seeing how we got those zones. You're seeing how we lined up that level. You want, I could flip it around, make it look like a buy. It's probably make it look more clear, or put it back to the sell, whatever you guys want. Cells look perfect. Cells looking, all right, cool. So this is where we will put for number 2. For number 2, waiting for rejection of area of interest. So notice how now we're waiting for the same thing on both trades. We're waiting for this to come here to take the buy, and we're waiting for this here to take the sell. So now we have both sides of the market technically, and you can, take either one that makes the most sense. But at this point, you're baiting the market and telling it what to do, so you have the higher probabilities, right? So when you're waiting for a retest, so let's say we have a retest of an area of interest. So let's say we have retest of weekly support. This is going to go 10% towards your trade. And then if this lines up with a daily area of interest, so let's say we also have for Confluence, let's throw here Confluence 2. Let's say for Confluence 3, retest of daily area of interest. So it's a 2-in-1. This goes 10% towards your grade as well. And if you notice, just by having a retest of both these areas, we already have a 50%. Right now comes the lower time frames, EMAs, all of these stuff that we basically need, right? Versus here, let's say we have our retest. So we have our retest of area of daily area of interest. This only works 10% towards your grade. And then let's say we have retests of 4-hour. So we'll go here, we'll put 3. Retest of 4-hour area of interest. Now this is just going to go 5% towards your grade. It's the same thing, literally same exact thing. Instead of this being weekly, it's daily. Instead of this being daily, it's the 4-hour. But just notice how this trade right here, we're already at 50%, versus here we are just reaching 35%, where we just had that from our foundation. You guys are seeing that? No, for this short right here, because I would possibly highly take this short, not gonna lie. I'm looking for the same thing. It's just building it up. This is awesome, simple. right? So I'm gonna keep teaching you guys on this, and then basically we can transfer it towards this like last week, and then it can, we can do the percentages and all that. What type of setup would it be? This would be basically a day trade. So if this were to come here, start creating higher highs and higher lows on the 30-minute, or let's just say whatever, 1 hour, heading to here. And then basically once it gets into here is where we would wait for it to then go bearish. So start doing like this. Once it gets into here, we'll wait for it to go bearish. What type of setup would it be? A, B, C? I have no idea what that is, honestly, to be completely honest. Do you guys have any questions with this so far? We understand top-down analysis. We understand where we are. Are we at an area of interest? Are we not at an area of interest? We understand whether we at our top, middle, or on the way. We got all of this covered, right? Everything is clear. A setup, B setups. Would it be an A or B? So I would have to build it out. So as of right now, I don't have anything. Like as of right now, we're literally here. We're literally waiting for the retest of area of interest. So until it doesn't retest this level, I can't keep going because it just doesn't give me anything to keep going. So I don't know if this is an A plus setup, and then this one is still nothing because we're waiting for a retest of weekly area of interest. No, that would be like 5%, Jeremy, like 5. Fire. All right, cool. So let's go over some of your guys' homework. All right, I'm just gonna pick. I'm gonna find this now. All right, let me find this. All right, so. All right, cool. All right, so let's start off. You guys ready for the homework? I'm excited to see how you guys are doing it. Okay. Let's do. I'm gonna select one of the groups that did not go last time. So we're gonna go with Brandon Fernandez. Brandon Fernandez, are you in here? All right, fire, bro. Let me find you. All right, you could go ahead and unmute yourself, and now you're the host, my bro.